Welcome to Lil and Scott from OTG. They are strength and overall conditioning training for overall well-being. What I asked Lil and Scott today is to talk about the Maverick Accelerator and the contribution it's made to themselves as individuals and as a couple who worked together over the last couple of years, and as well, also very importantly, is the impact on their business growth. So welcome. Thank you so much for taking this time.
Hello, thank you.
Thank you.
How are you both feeling today?
Yeah, we're good.
Really good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Life by the ocean is good.
It is good.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Okay, so I've got a couple of questions here that I just thought could kind of promote thinking and obviously have a benefit for other people who are out there who are working as couples, perhaps in a similar situation, and maybe they can take a few gems away from you. Okay, so if we think back a couple of years ago, before you came across the Maverick Accelerator and before you embarked on this journey, how were you feeling at the time? Where were you at, sort of individually, in terms of your relationship as well, and then in your business?
I think I'll start there. Individually, for myself, I was definitely a little bit frustrated, I would say, is the word I would use. Business was going well, you know, all those sort of things. But for me personally, I was frustrated and a little bit of overwhelm. You know, linked to both myself personally and the business. You personally?
Yeah, there was a lot of frustration, I think, in our partnership and in our business, because we both have very strong personalities. We both want to take control of everything. So we kind of needed to find our place. And I think that was one of the biggest things I found.
A breakdown in communication in terms of what our roles were and not stepping on each other's toes, a lot of conflicts. You know, in terms of decision making, day-to-day stuff that were, you know, butting our heads on stupid things that we shouldn't have been. I think just because we didn't have enough of a skill understanding of how to communicate effectively with each other in terms of business partners and married couple, and, you know, as individuals, of what we wanted individually as well. Because like you said, we're both very strong-willed individuals.
And, you know, you both mentioned frustrated, and you know, I think that's what a lot of people can start to feel as well, as that sense of frustration. How did that frustration start to impact your sort of life after work?
Yeah, look, it was very hard to separate on anybody that works with their significant other. It's very hard to separate work and your relationship. And I think because we were working all day and we were working on our business, it was very hard to draw that line of like, come home and now be romantic and husband and wife and like worry about all the lovely things and, you know, have good communication when we've had a fight at work about finance and money and clients or whatever it is. You know, so it was very hard.
Yeah, the frustration definitely carried over into the home life, that's for sure.
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah.
It's like that tension. You don't just walk in the door and then it's gone. It's that tension. And how did that affect your business?
I'm sorry, I'm always answering the quick effort.
I think it affected our business negatively in a huge way. You know, because we were constantly butting heads, and I think it was a lot tougher for Scott because it was my business originally and he came into it, and it was very hard for me to let go and to trust him and his skill. You know, I wasn't at the point then, I didn't know what his point of contribution to the business was, and I needed to let go of the reins, but I'm a complete control freak and I couldn't. So it was tough for him. So it definitely affected our business negatively because I wasn't in a position to grow it in the way that he wanted to grow it. I wanted to make all the calls, again, strong-willed. So we were actually now just repeating all of this. We were in a bad place. You know, I was really stunting the growth of our business. It was affecting our relationship, not negatively, but, you know, like we said now, it put strain. It definitely put strain on us.
For sure.
Absolutely. I mean, working with couples, I would say that has been such a significant thing, is that how it transfers into the home and then it spills into the business and it becomes so blurry. And what kind of were your hopes and dreams? What was this vision that you both had? What were you wanting to feel?
I think that we both wanted the same sort of growth for the business. We're both on the same page there. What do you think?
Just how to implement it. So we had the dream.
Different,
we had different visions of where, where I'm a dreamer, and that's where, where my skill is, and we only later found that out. But it was the vision and the direction of the business that we were sort of trapped inside the business and working in the business, not on the business. And she's an implementer and great at those sort of things, and I'm a dreamer. But I think we were both stuck inside, and we wanted to feel more freedom. We wanted to have more choice. We wanted to have more options of how we built our business. And it's very difficult to do that when you're feeling frustrated and in conflict all the time.
Absolutely. And I think something that someone's mentioned before as well is being able to know that you can count on each other. While the one is free, sort of away from the desk, the other one is keeping things going. And I think when you're not on the same page, you can't, there's a resentment that comes, or why am I sitting doing this, and the other person is free. And I think that's what we build these businesses for, is that the business can keep going even though we're not there. And I think that's the magic of a couple, is that they can, once they understand each other, they can start to utilize and go, okay, you go out and do your thing. I know that energizes you, and, come back into the business. And the last question, what would you say is the transformation now? Where are you at now?
We're free.
We're on a whole different planet.
Free and
Honestly,
happy. I can't explain to people how valuable this tool is, because the Maverick Accelerator is essentially a great tool, to help people understand their strengths and weaknesses, their natural strengths and weaknesses. And I think the word that I can use that describes it best, and the feeling that we got, is liberating. It is absolutely liberating to know where you are strong and where you are weak, and where you need your partner to pick up the slack, or understand where your partner's going and thinking naturally, and where you're going and thinking naturally, and why there's a miscommunication is because you guys are just thinking on a different path. Because
I think the biggest thing it did for us was teach us how to communicate with each other. And once you're communicating better, everything just improves.
Absolutely. It is. It all comes down to that communication. And how has your, if you look, say, Lil, how do you feel about yourself? I understand now your brain mode, and that's often misunderstood. I've been doing this for a long time, and often being on the left side of the brain, or it's often seen as being quite controlling. How do you feel now about yourself?
I questioned my personality type a lot. I questioned decisions I made, but now I'm so much more accepting that that's just the way I am. Yeah. And because Scotty is so much more understanding of my strengths and my weaknesses, just because of that, there's so much less frustration, and again, it's just improved our way in communicating. It's improved the way in which we get our work done. Just that acceptance of what our strengths are. I don't feel bad about my weaknesses. They are my weaknesses. I've accepted them. And it's great to be able to accept your weaknesses and not constantly give yourself a hard time or punish yourself about it and treat it as a weakness where it's just not your highest points of contribution. So don't depend on it. Once we've understood what each other's weaknesses are, we stop giving each other hell about it. It's just the way we think. It's just the way we do things. It's just the way we communicate. So that's been a game changer for us.
Absolutely.
And in terms of making what is unique with the Maverick Accelerator is adaptation, which we haven't mentioned. How has that played out? Carrying on from what Lil has said, perhaps Scott, you can sort of further that. How has the adaptation played into your life and understanding that? Because a lot of profiling tools pick up what your strengths and weaknesses are. I think people maybe would be interested to know why is this different?
Yeah, I think the problem that most people, they don't realize that they're adapting in their job, in their roles, in their home, in their career. They're adapting to do something because they have to do it, and it's not something that they necessarily really want to do. Then they don't thrive as much. That it takes them a lot of output to be able to do that. And I think I was adapting to pulling into a personality type where Lil's very efficient and timeous and make sure she's on time, and I'm the complete opposite of that. And it pulls you away from like sort of clipping your wings, of adapting to that environment, because that's what I needed to do in order to grow our business, because I thought I needed to be more efficient. And that adaptation actually just I feel like it just kills the soul. It takes away from you thriving in your natural environment of wanting to actually be at your highest point of contribution and just feeling free and chasing what you really like. Lil, you know, wants to be in that space of being efficient and making sure everything runs, and she's so good at it, and I want to be in that space where I'm free and whatever. So we don't pull each other into that adaptation anymore of like trying to do something that expectation is like removed now, and now we stay in our lanes, and
we're so much more productive because we're staying in our lanes.
We stay in our, absolutely.
Oh, that's great. I love that expectation. That is the root of a lot of conflict and pain and suffering, the expectation. And how would you say your business has grown? I mean, why would, you know, it's all great, the relationship is much better, and, you know, you feel better. As Lil was saying, she feels a lot more comfortable with her weaknesses. You were staying in your lanes. How has this actually impacted your business in terms of its growth and scale?
I mean, quite simply, it's allowed our business to grow exponentially.
Yeah, it's allowed us to both understand our roles within the business very, very clearly, and then place trust on that other partner, like you said, where Lil 100% now trusts me in the direction of where I'm going with the business. I trust that she's going to implement and make sure she does everything efficiently. We never question each other anymore, so there's no more doubt. We've both been able to hand over the responsibility and the accountability for each one of our roles that we play as the business owners, because our business is 50-50, but our roles are very, very different, day to day versus vision and dreaming. And now that I think that we both have those caps and we know exactly where we sit in that business and where we're steering it, the business is absolutely thriving. There's no conflict. Communication is clear, vision is clear, implementation is clear, and you know, our business is just growing month in and month out exponentially. So fantastic.
That is so amazing to hear. I feel like there's a book coming. I feel like it's just this wonderful story of this like business.
Well, we have time now,
we've
so
got
it's possible.
the time. We're free, yeah.
Thank you so much to you both, to Lil and Scott, and it has been such a pleasure working with you, and I look forward to continue growing together. Scott is an accredited Maverick Accelerator debriefer, so he is able to unpack that report. Yeah, what a cracker. The certificate's in the post. Certificate's in the post. So yes, thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. And it really makes me happy to see your beaming faces and that, you know, things are going so well for you. So thank you so much.
Couldn't be going better, and we really owe a lot to the Maverick. It's not something we're trying to plug. If anybody needs it and they're struggling, they're frustrated, I cannot recommend using this tool enough, guys. It's going to really be liberating for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. The word is liberating. That's what I'm all about, is liberating us from those kind of preconceived expectations we place on ourselves. So have an awesome day.
Absolutely.